Oh my goodness, Mike. Guess what? It is episode 44.
Oh, wow.
Man,
44.
this is crazy. I can't believe, man. You know what? The time has just flown by. And you know what, Mike? It's been almost a year since we started putting this show together. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And you know what, Mike? Guess what? We're going to do something special for the mothers out there, for the women out there. Because, you know, we're recording this episode a week before, you know, Mother's Day. So
when it does air,
Mother's
Day
it will air officially a couple days before Mother's Day. So let's do something for the mothers, man. Why not? You know? And so so ladies, this episode will be dedicated to you all. Because you got to remember about the women, man. Sometimes we lose sight of the women in our lives. Sometimes we lose a little bit of appreciation for them. So, hey, you know what? We're taking this moment, guys. We're taking this time to remember the women, to give our thanks to the women out there, whether it's your mother, your sister, your aunt, your niece, your grandmother, you know, your great aunt. Doesn't matter. We're taking time to remember all the women in our lives. And guess what, Mike? I'm going to do a little poem.
Oh, right on, buddy.
I am going to do a poem. I'm going to recite a poem for my mom, you know. Now, I wrote it, a couple years ago. Now, actually, you know what? You actually heard it before.
Yeah.
Since you were at the book launch, the original book launch, I recited it at the book launch. But you know what? There's a lot of people who haven't heard it.
Of course, yeah.
So today I'm going to put it out there to the world, Mike. And so, yeah, you know what, guys? We want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another week, another episode of Hood's Goods. You guys know my partner in crime over there. He's behind the computer right now, looking over everything. Mr. Michael Rosario.
Hello.
How's it going, Mike?
I'm doing good.
How's everything at work?
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
it's
man,
great.
I'm happy to hear that. Now
the summer's here. Oh man, my days just like a nice greenhouse I'm in, but
nice.
Beautiful sun and
I could imagine, man.
Amazing.
Well, you know what? That's great to hear. And hey, Mike, since we're talking about work, guess what?
What's up?
I got a promotion.
Oh.
I got a promotion, so I will be changing shifts, you know, so people who don't, you know, some people that work with me, they'll be like, Brent never told us that.
Yeah.
But I have 1 week left on afternoon shift, Mike, and then I will be officially the team lead of night shift. Now, it's not the most ideal shift, but at the same time, it's a step up, and it actually works out well when it comes to, my son and being able to spend extra time with him and make sure that he's okay, you know? But, yeah, you know what, Mike? You know what happened today? So I left my place. You ever have those moments where it's like you just put on, you know, like it could be a new shirt or like what you think is a clean shirt or a jacket. And then it's not till you get outside and you're like maybe getting on the bus. All of a sudden there's a stain that you just didn't see that you now see. Well, that happened to me when I left my place today. And you know, you always have that awkward moment where you're like, do I go back inside and just change it? But now the bus is coming. So I jumped on the bus, and then it's like you're always sort of a little self-conscious about it. Like, do other people see it? Do I have to? Should if I hold my bag this way, I can cover it. But yeah, so I'm traveling around with a stained jacket right now. But hey, you know what? We're gonna get right into it, Mike. We're gonna do some hood talk about the women out there. And, you know, this is a topic where I've talked about it in the past, but not so much so on this show. But people I talk to, I occasionally, you know, will have these types of discussions with them about it. So for me, I'm gonna do a hood talk about, you know, some of the negative terms we use when it comes to, you know, our women, when it comes to, you know, the derogatory terms we use to occasionally describe them, whether it's like out of anger or whether it's just like, you know, that has become the norm. And, you know, for me, it's almost like if you're using the N-word with a black person, you know, because it becomes a negative connotation of maybe what that woman is, like how, and maybe even how she might look at herself. So I want to talk about the use of the word, whether you call it, and I'm just going to say the word just because I want the full impact of it. So if you're calling your woman a bitch, a hoe, slut, skank, whatever it is, a derogatory term like that, for me, it's that's the type of language we just need to stop, man. Because you know what? Whether we realize it or not, in that moment, we're beating down our women, we're making them feel like less than they are. We're not uplifting them, we're not empowering them. And this is the thing, and I realized this from my own experience. In the past, if I feel, hey, you know what, the woman I'm with, she's acting like a bitch, well, I'm gonna call her that, right? But this is the thing I've noticed, Mike. When you start actually using those words to describe how you feel they're acting, it doesn't make them change their behavior.
No.
It doesn't necessarily. They're not like, well, you know what? Brent just called me a bitch.
Like,
I'm gonna, I'm
maybe I am.
And then
it
doesn't work. And I used to say, well, hey, reverse psychology. I call you that because I want you to act better. But you know what? There's a statement I used to hear. Actually, it was, but back in the day, I used to have like positive quotes that I used to get emailed to me, right? Now, I don't remember the actual person who used this quote, but I'm gonna, share it with everyone, and maybe they agree with it, maybe they don't. But the quote says, and this is speaking, the person uses man, but it applies to men or women. So the quote is, treat a man as he is, and he'll stay as he is. Treat him as what he could be, and he'll become what he should be. So what I get from that quote is that if you believe someone, man or woman, you can use that quote for men or women. But if you believe, hey, you know what, they're acting like a slut, they're acting like a bitch, hoe, whatever, whatever derogatory term you want to use, and you continue to treat them that way, you continue to, refer to them as such, that is not going to empower them. That is not going to help them to change that behavior. Because sometimes it's like a person, because, mentally they're broken. They've been broken. They've been hearing those terms used against them. They've been belittled for, years and years of their lives, and they're broken. Mentally, it's hard for them to turn that around. It's hard for them to do a 180, because it's like, well, men, or vice versa, women have treated me, so disrespectfully my entire life. I have now accepted that, hey, this is who I am. I'm not capable of being anything better, anything different, because, hey, for so long, this is what I've heard. And, I want to urge people. I want to urge not just men, but women also. You know what, women? If you feel there is a woman that and they're acting a certain way, don't just automatically go to the negative stuff. Don't just automatically start to talk down to them in a condescending way. Sometimes if you actually are the one that says, hey, you know what? Maybe your actions, based on what society's norms are, this is how you're behaving. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to treat you like a dignified woman. I'm going to treat you like a queen. I'm going to treat you with respect. I'm going to, empower you, not just through my actions, through my words as well. I'm going to, back you up to show you that, hey, you may have been, put down. You may have been demeaned, belittled your entire life, but you're better than that. And you're capable of being better than that. Sometimes we just need some positivity sometimes, man. And, when it comes to our women, and I'll always say this, there is it might be the music that we've listened to. Like I said, I mean, I grew up on rap music that those words are the norm, you know. It's rare to hear a rapper who's not using those terms to describe their women or to describe a woman, you know. So like for me, I always like guys like Common, you know, because Common was, you know, I've never heard him to be that type of rapper. I've never heard him to you know, talk down about women in that type of way, you know. And even he's got that song The Light, you know. And in that song he says, he's like you know, he talks about, I'll never call you a bitch, you know, or even my boo, because there's so much, because something in the word, there's so much more to you, you know. So guys, we gotta really take that in, and we have to realize, hey, if we empower our women, if we get behind our women, then we then also show them, hey, they can be better. Stop putting down your women, you know. If you're one of those guys out there who takes pride in demeaning your woman, you know what? It only reflects poorly on you, because at the end of the day, you also have to say, if I believe she is this, if I believe she's all these negative things, what am I doing being with her? And why should she want to be with me if this is how I treat her? So, you know, for those of you out there, guys, men, we got to take responsibility. We have to hold ourselves accountable to uplift our women, to empower our women, and to motivate them. If you feel they're doing wrong out there, then motivate them to do better. You know, when it comes down to things, even as simple, sometimes we're like, oh, you know, we'll say, oh, stop crying like a girl. Or, you know, if we're talking about sports, oh, you throw like a girl. Mike, that in itself, and we don't realize it because it may seem, well, it's so minor, but that in itself is showing that we believe women are inferior when it comes to maybe strength, or, you know, when it comes to, you know, emotions, showing, you know, being weak emotionally. And it's not fair, because I'll tell you this, sometimes the hardest thing is to be honest with yourself, to be open, to show emotion. You know, sometimes as men, we're always we're expected to be the ones, well, we're not supposed to show emotion. We're not supposed to show weakness, vulnerability in that way. But at the same time, if you can be honest and if you can be open with yourself, that actually shows strength through vulnerability. Sometimes you got to be able to put yourself out there and recognize, hey, you know what? I'm human. I'm not some robot. I have emotions. I have feelings. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging them and recognizing that they're part of me and using them to, you know, grow myself as an individual. We can't always be like, even when it comes to terms like, a guy can be treating you like a jerk. A guy's acting like a jerk. And the first thing is like, we call him a son of a bitch. Why are we calling his mother a bitch? Because he's a jerk, you know? That term in itself, and we don't normally think about it, right? We don't normally, it's just like, well, what? It's just a term. But that term in itself is showing that we are putting our women down. So a guy's acting like a jerk, but instead of just saying, dude, you're being a total jerk right now, and keeping it to that individual, we will say, wow, that guy is such a son of a bitch, you know? Why are we then using his actions to sort of take it out on his mother, or to take it out on another woman in his life? We have to stop putting our women down. And I know people might be hearing this and they're like, well, Brent, that's minor stuff. That's nothing major. But it just shows that these are trends that have transcended through time. You know what I once heard, Mike, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but remember back in the days where, like, you know, they used to be working, a miner would go into like a coal mine or something to you know, maybe open up a brand new tunnel, right? Okay. And before, they would send in a canary, because if the canary came back, alive, then it meant, okay, there are no maybe toxic gases in there, or there's nothing that can harm the men who follow afterwards, right? I heard even before that, women used to be the ones sent in first. So they would send the women in first.
Oh, wow.
To see if everything is safe for the men, and if the woman came back and she was okay, then it's safe for the men to go. So I mean, there has been a pattern through our history, through civilization, where we have put our women as like second-class citizens. We've put them beneath us as if they don't have strengths that even outweigh the strength of a man. I mean, I gotta say this. I could only imagine how it is to give birth. I mean, Mike, could you imagine that? Could you imagine if we had to deliver a baby through our genitals? Like, the strength that takes. Guys, we got to show our women respect. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is our little Mother's Day tribute, because we're officially going to release it next week. But, we have to really recognize, and we have to see, there are so many strong qualities about our women. So let's stop belittling them. Let's stop putting them down and stop calling them bitches and hoes and everything. Because just like I said earlier, you know what? If you treat someone like that, it's like the whole thing. If you have a cat and you tell that cat you're a dog, and day in, day out, you tell the cat you're a dog, and that cat goes to meow, but a wolf comes out. You've changed, you've warped the mind of that cat to where the cat now thinks it's a dog, So if we treat our women as such, if we make them feel they're bitches, and by the way, for those who don't know, the technical term for a bitch is a female dog. Like, I mean, a canine. A female dog is a bitch. And I've actually seen the paperwork where a friend of mine had a female dog, and he had the paperwork, and it says on it, regular bitch. Like, so think about it. If that's the term we're using with our women to, describe them, to, refer to them as, how can we then expect them to act as queens? How can we then expect them to act as responsible mothers? How can we expect them to, want better for themselves? Because if the person they're supposed to love, if the person they're supposed to, spend their lives with is referring to them in this negative way, guess what? Eventually, that is going to take its toll on them emotionally. That's going to take its toll on them mentally. And they're going to start saying, yeah, you know what? If every day the man I love, or, the man I'm with is calling me this, is referring to me as that, and looks at me through that light, why should I look at myself as any different? Why should I look at myself as any better? All I've heard from the men in my life is that I'm a bitch, is that I'm a hoe, I'm a slut, I'm no good, So guys, we as men have to take ownership in the way we treat our women. We have to realize, look, if we want them to treat us with that same respect, we have to give that respect first. We have to realize if we want them to be the women they're capable of being, we have to treat them as such. And again, I will go back to that quote that I heard. And like I said, it goes for men or women. But treat a man as he is, and he'll stay as he is. Treat him as what he could be, and he'll become what he should be. So men out there, remember that term when it comes to your women. Remember that phrase when it comes to how you address them. And women, the same thing. Remember it when it comes to your men. If you believe you have a good man in your life. Even if you think maybe your man isn't all that good, treat him as if he's the best thing that's ever happened to you. Show him that even if he may be down here, he can end up here with no issue, you know? As time goes on, we can change. We can grow as individuals. But we have to recognize our strengths and our weaknesses. And we have to recognize, hey, you know what? We're capable of being better. So, guys, treat your women with respect. Treat your women with dignity. Treat your women as if they're women, not female dogs, not women or not girls who are walking the street selling, you know, their stuff for money. Treat them like they deserve to be treated. And who knows, maybe you can be the one who changes their perspective. You can be the one who changes their life for the better. You can be the one who helps them to see. Forget what the guys in the past, you know, told them. Forget what society tells them where they're weaker than us and where, you know, if we show emotion, we're being women, we're acting like, you know, bitches and whatnot. If you're the one to help turn their perspective, turn their lives around, I guarantee you 99.9% of the time, they will show that they're grateful for that. They will show you that same respect. So you know what? Hey, man, just show love, Mike. You know, that's what it boils down to, man. Let's show each other love. Let's not demean our women. And, you know, in light of Mother's Day coming up, I want to urge the men out there, hey, you know what? Do something nice for your woman. Mm-hmm. You know, go out there. And I don't care if she even isn't a mother, you know, because in some way or another, they're always mothers, you know. They may not have, you know, born a child or given birth to a child, but at the same time, there is that instinct that most women have, just as women, where they're nurturing, they're caring. So I could even say this, you know, I know women who aren't mothers, but guess what? They've taught me things that make me realize, hey, they have that mothering ability. They have that nurturing side. They have that loving side that shows they may not have given birth to children, but they're mothers anyways, man. Mm-hmm. You know, even my grandmother who recently passed, Cleopatra James, my mama, mm-hmm. you know, she never gave birth to you know, biological children, but she was a mother through and through, Mike, through and through.
She had lots
you
of
know,
kids,
yeah,
right?
She had lots of, and she had the respect of men and women in her neighborhood. You know, people looked up to her as, that's my mother. Mm-hmm. You know, people respected her as a mother. So guys, they don't always have to give, and also on the opposite side, there are women who give birth that will never be mothers. Like they also don't have that ability, you know? So yes, you know, they don't have to always give birth to their biological child in order for them to be mothers. So men, with Mother's Day coming up, I want you guys to go out. I want to urge guys to go out there and do something nice for their women. You know, I feel sometimes it's good that we actually have days like that, because it reminds us, hey, you know what? Maybe it's been a bit since I showed love, you know, or since I showed a certain, you know, higher level of respect or a higher level of appreciation to the woman in my life. So it's like a little, it's a friendly reminder, you know?
Yeah.
So guys, just go out there and do something nice for your women. And, you know, with that, I will end with that quote one more time. Treat a man or woman as he or she is, and they'll stay as, you know, and he'll stay as he is. Treat them as what they could be, and they'll become what they should be. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, Mike. And guess what? When we come back, I'm going to recite a poem to my mother.
Nice.
You know, Bernadette Hood. So I need you guys to bear with me for, I think it'll take me like 30 seconds or so, you know, but hey, I love my mom and I got no shame in saying that, you know.
And what you could do, people, is plagiarize this and give it to your mom.
Yes, there you go. Plagiarize my work, just give me credit. All right, so guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to continue our Mother's Day episode of Hood's Goods. Catch you in a minute.
Sorry, folks. No more questions. We got to run.
Excuse me, pardon me. Mike, Brent, one last question, please.
Okay, sure. One last question. One last question. But that's it.
So, you gave away a Nike Fuel Band to Ivana after she won the Best Friends Challenge against Corey. Does this mean Hood's Goods is now sponsored by Nike?
No. Hood's Goods is not sponsored by Nike.
But we're not sponsored by Nike. Make it that what you will.
Hood's Goods. We're not sponsored by Nike? Oh man, welcome back. Mike and I were just talking about issues of a black person during the commercial break. Lotion makes your face look extra greasy sometimes. But you know, we want to welcome everyone back. Getting into it. Hey, you know what, Mike? Every now and then I like to take the opportunity to express some of my own personal artwork.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so for those of you who actually this I'm gonna recite a poem that I actually wrote for my mom. You know, because hey, it's okay. I just got a message from Fuse. He's like, "Greetings, you look good." Thank you, Fuse. Thanks for the heads up, man. Appreciate that. Fuse, we got to come through to your place sometime, man. We're definitely we were talking about doing it this weekend even, but in the near future we're gonna come through and do a recording from your place.
Oh yeah, it'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, man. As long as you're cool with it. Make sure there's lots of food. We come hungry. but yeah, you know. So continuing on with the Mother's Day tribute. I wanted to recite a little poem. So I'm gonna use our Express Yourself segment to express myself.
All right.
You know what? I think pretty much most of the show is just me expressing myself. So people may have gotten used to it by now. 44 episodes in, you know. But yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a guest on this week. But you know, schedules changed, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. But in a couple weeks, we're looking forward to having him on. And you know what, Mike? He's gonna be coming through with his son and possibly his daughter as well. And could you believe this? He and his son made a song together. Like, isn't that's pretty cool, man?
Oh yeah,
that
seems like the goal of a lot of parents is to work on a project with your kid,
exactly,
and then have it come out amazing. That you want to share it with the world.
You want to share it with the world.
That sounds amazing.
So you know what? So guys, I'm gonna let you guys know the world premiere. Mike, they're gonna give the world premiere on our show.
All right.
He's saving it. They've been saving it specifically for Hood's Goods. Could you believe that?
Wow.
Man, we're dishing out the goods all the time, man. So you know what? Getting right into it. Actually, hey Mike, my sister just joined the Facebook live session here. What's up, Levon? So getting into it, I'm gonna recite a poem that I wrote to my mom a couple years ago. You know, because I love my mom.
Oh yeah.
All right. So in light of it being you know, our Mother's Day tribute episode, here's a little poem to my mom. So I wrote this for her birthday. So. It's a little birthday, you know, tribute. All right. I'd like to talk about someone who means a lot to me. To most of you, she's Bernadette, but I simply call her Mummy. You all may never understand what she did for me. She taught me dignity, respect, and plus integrity. I'll never be the perfect man I'll never claim to be, but I'm grateful for the principles that you instilled in me. One thing I love about you is your simplicity, the way you eloquently speak with so much authenticity. When I look in your face, I see a part of me. I have your eyes, mouth, and cheeks. I even have your brother's feet. Now I know that's funny, but speaking truthfully, you truly gave me all your best. You raised your son up beautifully. But I do apologize for all the misery, all the times I let you down, even when you believed in me. Now it's time for me to end this short soliloquy. I hope you know I love you, and I pray this makes it plain to see.
Oh.
Hey, say. A little something, you know, a little something
Still
there.
got it, buddy.
Still got it. But hey, you know what, guys? Now, like I was saying in the first segment, I'm going to urge you guys, go out there. Now, you don't necessarily have to write like a poem or a rap or whatever, but, you know, one thing I remember, and my mom, you know, occasionally reminds me of this too, of like a few years back, I actually wrote just letters to her and my sister. Just letting them know, hey, you know what? This is what I think of when I think about you guys. These are some of the qualities I respect about you guys. This is why I love you guys. And they loved it, man. You know, sometimes, guys, you can use simple words, but the way you put them together can really boost someone's spirit. You know, so maybe it's a day where, hey, your loved one is having a rough day, and it's like, you know what, they had a tough day at work. They come home, maybe, you know, body's aching, and maybe you can do something as simple as, hey, babe, I wrote you a short little letter, just so you can remember what I think of when I think of you. And maybe at the end of their long day, they can read that letter and they could be like, wow, you know what, Brent really loves me, or Mike really loves me, or whoever it is I'm with, they really love me, and that makes me love myself. You know what? It's really difficult, and sometimes as men, for us to put our feelings into words and show it, you know. But something that seems so minor can be so significant. You know, something that seems like, why should I even bother doing it, could end up being that thing that maybe sparks that person to, you know, change their lives or have an amazing day. Maybe they start their day off by reading that little letter and they're like, wow, this just gave me the energy to go and work 20 hours, you know. Never mind 8. I want to work a 20-hour shift now.
You know, I find that's with little notes.
Little notes, man. Just drop it. Just drop them in there. You know, maybe you just slide it into her bag. She doesn't even realize it's there. Then she goes to like take out her lunch or something, and hey, there's a nice little note from Mike. It's like, Jonah, whenever you laugh, it just brings a smile to my face, you know? Or whenever you do this, it makes me appreciate you so much more.
Nice.
You know, so
I'm gonna use that.
There you go. There you go.
Jonah, I didn't steal it. It was my idea.
Jonah, he didn't steal it. He subliminally put it in my mind. I just regurgitated it live. But yeah, you know what, guys? Go out there, do something nice for your women. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a poem or a rap, or, you know, it could just be a nice little note. A little post-it note. Hey, thinking of you. You know, sometimes I've heard that even that's like, wow, they're thinking of me. You know, that's so sweet. Or it's like, you know, maybe, you know, okay, this is their favorite newspaper, and instead of them having to go to, you know, the you know, down the street to the newspaper box to get it, all of a sudden you surprise them with it one morning. Sure, and just like, hey babe, I just did this to let you know I love you, or I care about you, whatever it is, you know. So men, get out there. Let's be proactive with showing appreciation to our women, and that's what this episode is all about, man. That's what, you know, we need days like this. We need times like this to rally behind our women, to support them, to motivate them, to, you know, help them excel in life. And hey, you know what, Mike, we like positive vibes on this show.
Yep.
You know, so hey, you know what, for those of you who regularly tune in, you guys know what we're about at this point. So you know what, Mike, we're going to take one last commercial break.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, Mike, it's been a bit since I've done something. It's been a bit since I've hit them with the, what's up with that? So I'm gonna let them know something that has me saying, what's up with that? So we're gonna take one last commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna close it off with a little what's up with that. All right, guys, you know what it is. Episode 44, Hood's Goods. He's Michael Rosario. I am Brent Hood. We'll be right back.
So, Brent, what's the name of your book again?
Straight Hood.
Oh, and who sponsors Straight Hood?
Straight Hood.
So, Straight Hood is sponsored by Straight Hood.
Yeah, that's right. Bookception.
Okay, guys, okay. I know it's been a while since you've heard my voice go that high, and you guys know what that means. You know what, Mike? I've come to realize whenever it comes to any extra segments, I usually like doing high-pitched voices. Like, even the song for Angry Black Guy. It's like a jingle. Yeah, you know. Mike, have you put that together?
No.
Okay. Mike still hasn't put that together.
Right. As I'm singing it, I'm like,
yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I was
that.
supposed to do that. That's
You know,
all right.
it might help.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm using, there's like a new Google app. It's
Yeah.
called Task.
Okay.
It's called Task Manager. Task on that. Yeah,
All
tasks. Right. It's just nice. Like you set up a task and then you complete it, and then just something simple. But yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I'll type that in right now.
Okay, Mike's gonna type it in to his task manager.
Make theme music.
All right, there we go.
It autocorrected to male theme music.
Beautiful. Well, hey, I'm a male. I'm a male, and I sang that theme music, so I guess it works. Okay. So yeah, you know what? But it's been quite a few weeks since I've done a little what's up with that.
Yeah.
So you know what, Mike? I was motivated by something I saw today, and you know what? This one's going to be about the TTC, man. Mm-hmm. You know, in the past I've talked about...
Oh, extensively.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm going back at the TTC. All right. So, guys, in this week's What's Up With That? I recently was at, you know, a train station, right? Mm-hmm. So now there's the one section where you're not supposed to enter because it says, hey, $500 fine for illegal entry and whatnot, right? So I see a woman enter through that way, and I saw what I thought was a TTC worker actually pointing at her, trying to call her over to let her know, hey, ma'am, you're supposed to enter through this way, so you pay your fare, right?
Okay.
So I directed her over there. I was just like, hey, that gentleman's calling you. I think he's trying to tell you that that's not the entrance. You have to go through where he is. So she goes over there, and the gentleman walks out, and I'm just like, and so she says to him, she's just like, oh, were you calling me? And he's just like, oh, no, I was actually directing this gentleman on which bus to find or where to find his bus, right? And the guy literally just like let her just walk through anyways. So my whole thing is, what's the point in having the signs posted? What's the point in saying this is where you're supposed to pay your fare if your own workers aren't even enforcing anything?
Yeah.
You know, like, what's up with that, man? Like literally the guy just told her, just like, oh, no, there's no reason I was calling you over. Just go ahead. Like, and like, it brings me back to that day when I was literally I was tag teamed by 2 TTC workers. At the same entrance, and I didn't even illegally enter. I was actually just waiting over there, and the woman assumed I illegally entered. And yet you have people strolling in illegally and No consequence, Mike. No consequence. So you know what, TTC? Just get rid of the fare. Just get rid of it. Like, cause even I've seen people, the other night I was traveling on the bus and a guy said, I'm not gonna pay. And like his friend was like, dude, just take the fare, just drop it in. And this guy's like, nope, I'm not paying and I'm not getting off the bus. And like literally he walked on the bus, held the fare in front of the driver, didn't drop it in, and the driver just let him walk by. So you know what? Just get rid of the fare then. Just because then it would make me feel better at least. Because now, Mike, I'm almost thinking of just strolling into like Eddie's.
Well, my understanding now is they don't
actually have to enforce it now. That's what I've been hearing.
They don't want to.
They don't want
to get into altercation.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, fine, I'm just gonna start strolling through, and if they're like, "Sir, you're supposed to pay," I'll just be like, "No, I'm the angry black guy." Like, deal with it. Have you not heard of it? All right. So you know what? Hey, that's my what's up with that? Because I just don't understand it sometimes. But hey, you know what? Live and learn, Mike. Live and learn. But one of these days, I am gonna do that. I'm just gonna be like, no, I'm just walking through. and if they, you know
what I do a lot is I'll take the go train down to downtown and I'll buy a round ticket.
Yeah.
So there and back. But then I usually like crash at someone's house downtown.
And then you just take it back. Exactly. It's like, look, I paid double. I paid double for this, all right?
But that I know technically I'm not supposed to do that.
But that even more so, because you paid double the fare.
Yeah,
like
right?
you at least paid for a round trip,
and
you know?
I'm sure I could tell that story.
Yeah, and they would be understanding of it. Exactly.
Twice,
yeah, you know? Because you did.
Yeah.
And it reflects that on the ticket.
And it hurts because I'm like, oh, it's like $7.
Yeah. And you're like, I should really utilize this because otherwise, yeah. But hey, you know what? I understand that. I don't understand just no, go ahead. It's like, well, what's the point then? What is the point? But hey, you know what, man? Sometimes we just gotta vent at the TTC. You know, I'm realizing I may want to start driving again. Like, because before I used to be like, I'm glad I'm not driving because I would have road rage with some of the driving I've been seeing. Now I'm like, I think I should start driving again because I might have TTC rage. Like, I might just like snap on the TTC one of these days. But hey, you know what, man? We like to be lighthearted with the TTC. You know what? I don't hate you guys. I like the service. I just want consistency sometimes, man. Just give me some consistency. Just say to me, hey, you know what, sir? It's okay. Don't pay any fare.
You
just to give me that one time. Just make up. It'll make up for a lot, you know. But man, hey, you know what, man? That's the end of this episode, Mike. Want to thank everyone as always. Thank you for those of you who tuned in through Facebook Live. You know, it's great when you can like interact with people in person like that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, for those of you, continue to, follow us on Instagram. I mean, we are also on Twitter, but like we also say, the Twitter account's pretty much dead to us. Like we pretty much just like burnt it, you know. But, we will definitely catch up with the guest who was supposed to make it on this week. And you know what, Mike? Touching on guests, I want to actually recognize. So when I made the appearance on that show, the Liquid Lunch Show, hosted by Hugh Riley, and for those of you who haven't seen that interview, just go to that channel, just go to their YouTube channel, which is that channel, and check out my interview with the Liquid Lunch Show. You know, but through that show, I actually got contacted from a productions company, and recently I talked to the guy. And Mike, so they've got a bunch of musicians, artists under their company, and they want them to come on our show.
Oh wow!
So yeah. So we within the next couple weeks, the guy told me he's gonna organize everything, gonna send me a detailed email with a list of people that they want to have come on the show and promote what they're doing, because we love that. We're people. We are people. That's what we like to do. So, hey, looking forward to that. And it's always good when you're able to connect with, people on a different level, man. So, and I want to send the invite out to anyone out there. Guys, if you got something that you're passionate about doing and you're like, you know what? I want to get on Hood's Goods and I want to promote my show, or I want to promote, my music, my artwork, whatever it is, my book. I mean, heck, I'm also an author, so I can understand that. And I'm telling you, the hardest thing is promotion, Mm-hmm. So guys, feel free, get in touch with us. We are easy to get a hold of. You can look for Mike on Facebook. He is Michael Rosario. On Instagram, he is Mikey Diamonds with a 0 for the O. And if you want to find me on Facebook, I am Brent with 2 T's Hood. And on Instagram and I guess Twitter as well. If you want to look us up on Twitter, he's the same thing on Twitter, and I am B_Hood82. But or you could just reach us, Hood's Good Show. Both of us are connected to that. So so if you want to reach either of us on Instagram or on Twitter, Hood's Good Show. Send us a message, let us know what's up. And you know what, man? So we always enjoy connecting with people. We like reaching out to people. And, to just sum up what the show was about, men, appreciate your women. Show your women that they play an important part in your life, and that you are really grateful to have them in your life. So like I was saying earlier, write them a little poem, a little letter, maybe a little sticky note. You can just place it in their bag, so when they open it up, it's like, hey, there's a note in here. I didn't know this was here. And just do something nice that will show them your appreciation for them. Don't demean them, don't belittle them, don't call them these derogatory terms, because you gotta look back. Like, if your woman was doing those things to you, would you appreciate her? Would you appreciate that type of treatment? If not, then don't do the same to them, So, guys, just appreciate your women. In light of Mother's Day coming up, we here at Hood's Goods want to say a thank you to all the women out there. For those of you who heard the poem to my mom, thank you, Mother. You're such an inspiration. You're such a special motivating factor in my life. And my sister, Anisha. I appreciate my grandmothers. Doesn't matter, nieces, nephews, all women. We want to say a special thank you, and we want to say, hey, you know what? Even if you don't hear it every day, just know that you make this world a better place, and you make our lives better.
Nice. Well said. Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Mike, you got anything you want to add on top of that?
No. Just a happy Mother's Day out to everyone out there, and thank you for tuning in.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week for another thrilling episode of Hood's Goods. Take care.